All right, so another common reaction they'll get from this laser guard position is most people are right-handed, and most people kind of lead with their right leg in grappling, or their dominant leg is kind of the opposite of like striking arts. And so another powerful reason that the laser guard is so powerful is I believe 80 or 90% of the population is right-handed. So if you're right-handed, you're using your dominant hand to control your partner's dominant hand. And I feel like in this situation, they need it more than we do. So that's a huge bonus of using the laser guard, is controlling our partner's dominant hand, assuming they're right-handed. Even if they're not, no big deal. It doesn't really matter too much, but it is like a nice bonus. And again, like I mentioned, most of the time people have their right leg forward. Most people lead like so. But something you may experience when you're playing this position is people may switch their hips to try to as he does that, it pulls his hip backwards and it kind of weakens the connection of my foot on this hip. But if my partner does that, no problem. All I'm gonna do is immediately, I'm gonna take this foot off the shoulder, I'm gonna swing it down, sit up, and then I'm gonna bring it through, like so. So we're entering a deep De La Riva hook on the far side. And then immediately my foot that was on the hip is just gonna go underneath, behind the knee, and now I'm extending my legs, pinching my knees together. At this point, you can either switch to grab two same side sleeve grips, or you can just immediately get two cross sleeve grips, and then we're gonna try to dump our partner down to the side. If we manage to dump them down on this side, I'm gonna keep my sleeve grips, retract my bottom leg, post on my toes here to lift my hip, turn my kneecap towards the ground to do like a mini technical stand-up. Not gonna stand up all the way, just enough so that I can then knee cut over this leg, like so. Or sometimes when you're in this position, so we were here, my partner switches his legs, so now we insert, we get to the deep De La Riva. Sometimes you don't always get to pick which side your partner gets dropped on. If I try to bring him this way, he may try to overcorrect and lean this way, so I just take that and bring him to this side instead. But now we're not over his leg, so we're gonna get up in a slightly different way. Now I'm gonna extend my bottom leg, or extend my top leg, retract my bottom leg, do that same kind of technical get up, but now we just end up in like a headquarters knee cut type position rather than being over that far leg. So let's look at that from maybe this angle here. So I'm playing laser guard. I'm using my right hand to control my partner's right hand. My left foot is in my partner's right hip, but he switches his hips to make this connection here weaker. As you can see, when he does that, my leg naturally wants to fall down. I wanna not let that happen. I wanna try to pull him in, keep that connection, but the connection is weak. So we're gonna swing this leg up. I'm gonna sit up as I use that swing to guide through and bring my foot in front of my partner's hip. Now my foot that was on the hip on that side comes underneath, goes by the knee. Again, I'm extending my legs, pinching my knees together, and then ideally, I like to get two same side sleeve grips here. Now, very important, I need to be seated forward in this De La X position. A lot of the power comes from having the range of motion to turn side to side like this. But if I stay flat on my back, I have no range of motion. So I want to stay seated up, pull these grips, keep my elbows tight to my body, and now it's me leaning, dropping my shoulder to the mat. That'll drop my partner's shoulder to the mat. If we lean this way with our legs configured like this, then I retract, come up, knee slice over, or if we go the other direction, fall this way, then I extend. By keeping this foot hooked and elevated, it'll stop him from standing up, retract my bottom leg, come up into a more neutral position. But even though we don't get like the pass right away, we still went from being on bottom to being on top, which is kind of always our goal as a bottom person. We should always be looking to submit the person or try to get on top. And so, yeah, it's a very common reaction and a very powerful counter to the reaction of people trying to switch their hips in the laser guard.